All right, everyone, the time is now 2 p.m. Let's go ahead and get started. This is the state expedited accusations calendar. This calendar is for those individuals who have been recently arrested, but the cases have already been formally accused and bound over to state court. I'm Judge Melanie Williams, and this is the State Court of Fulton County, Georgia. And today is January the 21st of 2023. All defendants, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney at this proceeding. Participants, this proceeding is being broadcast over the internet as a live stream. It's also being recorded. That means any member of the public can log on to watch. Are there any particular announcements from the Public Defender's Office or from the state before we get started?
None from the state.
None from the state, Your Honor. I mean, from the defense, Your Honor, sorry.
I know what you meant, Ms. Melnick. All right,
Thank you.
let's begin. Who do we have first at courtroom 2?
Good afternoon, Judge Williams. This is going to be Mr. Black, position 1.
All right, good afternoon. Are you our Qantas Black?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Black, your case is 23 CR 0003878. I'm sorry, 387B. In this case, you're charged with criminal trespass with the offense date of January the 20th. Do you understand those rights I just explained?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Roberts, can I please have Mr. Black's history?
He has 3 cycles. His last arrest was July 22nd of last year out of Fulton County for criminal trespass. That does appear to be an open case, 22 CR 004-822B, and nothing further.
All right, thank you. Ms. Guidry, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. He currently has a $1,000 surety bond that was already set in this case. I'll give you a little bit of the facts. The facts in this case arise from an incident that occurred yesterday. On the 20th, officers responded to 1365 Peachtree Street, Northwest Atlanta. That is the Residence Inn by Marriott. When they responded to that area, they spoke with the security officer who informed them that the defendant was staying at the property, but he was not allowed to return back to his room due to a dispute that had occurred. At that time, the defendant got upset and began to beat on the door, causing security to ask him to leave, but he refused. Officers came, they asked him to leave again. He continued to refuse, and then he was arrested. Your Honor, our concerns is that he does have that open criminal trespass from last year. It's kind of the same facts. He entered into a Sheraton hotel. He remained, he would not leave, and he kept refusing. He was arrested. So we're asking for a $1,000 surety bond, a stay away from the Marriott located at 1365 Peachtree Street, Northwest Atlanta. We do believe there may be some MH issues. So MHET, if applicable by Your Honor, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, thank you. Ms. Melnick?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense, I would like to add that, Your Honor, he simply was not allowed to return to his room to get his property, and he was upset by that, but there was no damage to the property. He just simply wanted to get his remaining items, and we're asking for a $1,000 surety, a signature bond.
All right. At this time, defendant will receive a $500 surety bond. He is to stay away from the Residence Inn on Peachtree Street. Has he retrieved his items, Ms. Melnick?
No, Your Honor.
He can return with law enforcement one time to get his items. And moreover, he's to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Nothing further from the state.
No,
All
Your
right,
Honor, nothing from the defense.
Best of luck to you, Mr. Black. All right, who do we have next?
Judge, you said 500 surety bond, correct?
I did, yeah.
Can I ask something?
I don't suggest that you do. You should probably call Ms. Melnick because anything you say can and will be used against you, Mr. Black, okay?
Mr. Black, I will speak with you later.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, who do we have next?
Bruce Durham?
All right. You said position 2?
Yes.
All right. Good afternoon. Are you Mark Durham?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
All right. Your case is 23 CR 000-389C. You're charged with simple battery against a police officer or dog and simple battery family violence, each with the offense date of January the 20th. Do you understand your right?
Yes, Your Honor, I do have a quick question.
Wait, no, don't. The best thing to do is let your attorney speak for you. Oh, but before I begin, the reset date for everyone who receives a surety bond, including Mr. Black, will be February the 2nd. That case is going to the state all-purpose calendar. All right, Ms. Roberts, can I have the history, please?
I'm showing 45 cycles. Last arrest was August 8th of 2022 for a probation violation. He appears to be on probation out of Cobb County for aggravated assault. Disposition was February of 2022. 4 years probation, 1 year confinement. He has a simple assault conviction, 2022. A simple battery with obstruction of a law enforcement officer and criminal trespass conviction from 2022. An escape conviction from 2018. A willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer conviction, 2017. Criminal trespass, 2014.
That's good, Ms. Roberts. That's sufficient. Thank you. Ms. Guidry, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. Just to make note, the victim in this case, Ms. Mercedes Cook, stated that she will be on the Zoom. Your Honor, he's currently charged with simple battery against a police officer and simple battery family violence. He currently has no bond set just as of yet. This incident occurred yesterday on the 20th. Officers responded to 1570 Monroe Drive Northeast, and that was in Atlanta. Officer Brooke arrived, and he, due to a dispute call, when he arrived, he spoke with the victim, Mercedes Cook, both common spelling. She informed that the defendant who she lives with put his hands around her neck and then spit in her face. The officer did observe that her ear was red. However, we still charged him with simple battery family violence. At that time, the defendant wasn't on the scene due to fleeing. He was identified by the victim through a picture of his driver's license. He was located not too far from the house during the arrest. The defendant spit on the officer's shoe, so he was charged with simple battery against a police officer as well. Your Honor, our concerns is that his criminal history is very extensive, 46 cycles, including this one. As pre-trial has stated, he has a 2020 battery family violence, which he pled guilty to in 2022, a simple battery 2022 out of Cobb, and an aggravated assault 2022. And he also has an escape charge. So we are gravely concerned. He also has a battery family violence that's open out of Douglas County. We were not able to ascertain whether or not that is the same victim at this time, but we are gravely concerned for the community's safety, for the victim's safety. He is a flight risk given that he did have an escape charge. He's a danger to society and the victim. Given that, we are asking for $1,000 surety on the simple battery against a police officer, a $7,000 surety on the simple battery family violence, no further contact with Mercedes Cook, a stay away from 1570 Monroe Drive, Northeast Atlanta, 1 day anger awareness, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, thank you. I'm going to sound for Ms. Cook at this time. I see Ms. Cook on the screen. Ms. Cook, you're not required to make a statement, even though you're here in court today. But if you would like to do so, this is your opportunity. I would just need you to turn on your camera and unmute yourself. All right, would you like to make a statement, Ms. Cook?
Well,
Before-
I know for a fact I'm not.
Wait. Before you begin, I have to swear you in. Do you want to make a statement?
Yes.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today here in court will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, speak loudly so that I can hear you. What would you like to tell the court at this time?
That I moved out of where we were living, so he's not going to be danger to me at all. That's all, really.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, Ms. Cook. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor, good afternoon.
Good
Mr.
afternoon.
Durham is 39 years old. He has been living in the Atlanta metro area for almost all of his life. He is gainfully employed as a forklift operator. He denies, Your Honor, that he spat on the police officer. He said he was just spitting on the ground, and it may have hit the police officer's shoe, but certainly was not intentional, Your Honor. He also says that he and his girlfriend, Miss Cook, they they did have a dispute and he left because he was just trying to de-escalate the situation. I had the opportunity to speak with Ms. Cook before she came on, Your Honor. She tells me that she will be moving from the apartment, which is my client's apartment. And she's okay with no further contact between them. I would ask the court to set my client a more reasonable one than the prosecutor has asked for, Your Honor. I understand that he does have some criminal history, and we acknowledge that. I would ask the court to considerably reduce the bond because $8,000 is much more than he's able to pay at this time, Your Honor. Nothing further.
All right, thank you. At this time, defendant will receive a $5,000 surety bond, $1,000 for count 1, $4,000 for count 2. He is to have no further contact with the alleged victim, last name Cook. Having received information that Ms. Cook no longer resides there, he can return to the address on Monroe Drive, and he's to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition of the bond. Is there anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
The 1-day anger awareness.
Well, I did a surety bond, so I'm not going to order that at this time. All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Durham. If you have questions, please give Ms. McLeod a call.
All right, I will. Thank you, Ms. McLeod, as well.
Thank you. All right, who we have next?
Position 3, Dyer.
All right, are you Yasmin Dyer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, your case is 23 CR 000-388F. In this case, you're charged with battery family violence with the offense date of January the 19th. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, sir.
You do? You have a right to remain silent and you have a right to an attorney. Do you understand those rights?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Ms. Roberts?
She only has one prior arrest from 2006 for disorderly conduct. There was no disposition listed.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Guidry?
Yes, Your Honor. She presently doesn't have a bond set in this case. I'll give a little bit about the facts. The victim as well also stated that he would be on. His name is William Scott. Your Honor, this case occurred on January 19th. Officers responded to the area of 2250 Daytona Drive Southwest. That's in South Fulton. Officers arrived at the location due to an altercation. When they arrived, they learned that the defendant and the victim were arguing because the victim told the defendant to stop smoking cigars in the house. The two separated. The victim and his wife then began to argue in their bedroom when the defendant entered their bedroom and started punching the victim in his face several times, causing a black eye. At this time, at the time of the incident, the parties all lived together. We would like to know that within this incident, the wife also beat up the victim as well. He sustained numerous injuries. He was hospitalized. He is on a cane. He's 83 years of age. He can barely walk. He's still recovering from a stroke that he just had. He did state that he is extremely afraid of the defendant. He does not want contact from them, and he does not want them to return to the residence. The wife was also arrested. She was in felony court this morning. I do not know the bond amount as of now, but given the nature of the crime, given that the victim was 83 years of age, he can barely care for himself, Your Honor. We would ask for a $5,000 surety bond, a stay away from the address, 225 Daytona Drive, Southwest, South Fulton. No further contact with William Scott, 1-day anger awareness, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
And what's the relationship between defendant and the victim?
He's her stepfather.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna hear from Mr. Scott now. If Mr. Scott wishes to make a statement. Mr. Scott, do you wish to speak today? You don't have to if you don't want to. Do you wish to speak?
Yes, ma'am. I don't mind, ma'am.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
I do.
All right. Mrs. Scott, what would you like to tell me today?
Well, this yesterday I raised that child and had her since she was 6 years old, that's what you put turn around to me like that. I didn't understand it, and I don't have no more feeling for her.
All right, Ms. Scott, thank you for coming to court. I appreciate you making that statement at this time.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right, Ms. McLeod, if you please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 41 years old. She has lived in the metro Atlanta area all her life, and she tells me that the alleged victim is her stepfather. They've had a long-standing relationship since she was about 5 years old. She said they have never really had any issues before. She said that he smokes and she smokes, and she was smoking, and for some reason he was a little bit upset and she left. She was actually in his office, his home office at the time, and he asked her to leave and that she left. She denies that she attacked him, Your Honor. My client has no criminal history, basically nothing. She was arrested in 2006, which is remote for disorderly conduct. That is all. And she's now 41 years old. I would ask the court to give her a signature bond so that she can get out of jail. She tells me that she does have somewhere else that she can go to live, Your Honor, and that she does not have to have any contact with the alleged victim.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, I would like to note for the record that we can see that Mr. Scott's eye is swollen on camera.
All right,
Yes, but my client says that she was not the one who attacked him.
all right, thank you both. At this time, the defendant is going to receive a $2,500 surety bond. She's to have no further contact with the alleged victim, Mr. Scott, and stay away from the address on Daytona Drive. She can return one time with a member of law enforcement to get any items, and she's to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, Ms. Dyer. Who do we have next?
Position 5, Hallman.
Is it Hallman? Is it Charlita Hallman?
Hallman, yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Hallman, your case is 23 CR 000391J. You're charged with simple battery family violence with the offense date of January the 20th. You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Roberts, can I have her history, please?
The rest.
Oh, you said first arrest?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Lewis, is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All
This-
right, please proceed.
This incident occurred yesterday on the 20th at 8601 Roberts Drive, Building 8, Apartment 9. Officer responded to the location and met with Charlita and Andrew Hallman. Mr. Hallman stated that the two were having a verbal dispute that turned physical. Mrs. Hallman stated that she grabbed her husband by the neck, and she also stated that her and her husband began to wrestle. Mr. Hallman stated that at one point he had to wrestle a pair of scissors from his wife's hands, and she also kicked him. Your Honor, because this is her first arrest, the state is recommending a $2,000 surety bond and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Nothing further.
All right, the alleged victim is named Andrew
Andrew.
Hallman.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Hallman, if you're present on this Zoom conference and wish to make a statement, this is your opportunity to do so. Do you wish to make a statement?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, please raise your right hand. I'd like to place you under oath, please. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what would you like to tell the court at this time?
So this situation was completely blown out. It was a verbal altercation that got a little bit physical, and simply because I was intoxicated, my wife was trying to prevent me from leaving because she didn't think that was a great idea. I grabbed my keys. She wanted to make sure I didn't leave. So it did get a little physical. I started to feel unsafe, in which I did call the police, but this is it's not what it's supposed to be. She's a nonviolent woman. I feel safe with her. And if you can please just give her a signature bond, like that's perfect. Like 10 years plus with this woman, and this has new happened. Please
All
show
right.
me.
All right, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate you coming to court. All right, Ms. Melnick?
Your Honor, as it's been indicated, this is her first arrest ever. This is a simple battery. She does have a friend that she can stay with in Swanee, Ashanta Brown. She is employed with the Wells Fargo Travel Agency. And we are asking, given her history and given the statement from the complaining witness, we're asking for $1,000 signature bond on this case.
All right, thank you. At this time, the defendant will receive a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services per judge. She's to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim at this time and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything further?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
No, Your
All
Honor.
right. Hearing none, best of luck to you, ma'am. All right, who do you have next?
Position 4, Epps.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Epps. Your case is 23 CR 0000390Y. Excuse me. In this case, you're charged with battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the third, each with the offense date of April the 9th of 2022. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you. Ms. Roberts, can I have his history, please?
We're on Mr. Epps, right?
Yes, position 4.
Okay, he has 5 cycles, with his last cycle being in 1996 for ag assault and carrying a pistol without a weapon. That was an aggravated assault conviction in 1997. And then a drug conviction in 1995.
That's okay. That's extremely remote. Thank you. All right, Ms. Guidry, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, he currently has no bond set. This incident occurred on April 9th of 2022 at the location of 2280 Campbellton Road Southwest at apartment 7 in Atlanta. Officers arrived at that location and spoke with the victim, Priscilla Hickson. I can spell it for you. It's Priscilla Hickson, Hickson. She stated that she and the defendant got into an argument about their relationship when the defendant threw a chair at her and then punched her in the forehead, causing a bruise with a laceration to her forehead. The victim's 16-year-old daughter was at the house at the time, and she confirmed that she was in the room when she heard arguing. She went downstairs and saw the defendant punching her mother in the head and jumping on her. The victim's daughter tried to pull the defendant off of her. After getting the defendant off of her mother, the defendant fled. All parties do live together. And the defendant is the daughter's father as well. Your Honor, given the extensiveness of what happened, the fact that the 16-year-old daughter was there and had to witness that, the fact that she sustained injuries, we are asking for a $3,000 surety bond for the battery, family violence, and for the cruelty to children in the third degree. We're asking for a $1,500 surety bond. Stay away from 2280 Campbellton Road Southwest at that apartment 7 in Atlanta. No further contact with Priscilla Hickson. 1-day anger awareness and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
I'm going to sound for Ms. Hickson. If Ms. Hickson is on the Zoom conference and wishes to be heard, this is our opportunity to speak. All right, seeing and hearing none, Ms. Melnick.
Yes, Your Honor. My client has lived in Georgia his entire life. His actual address, as shown on his booking sheet, is 2434 Stone Road, apartment 6, Atlanta, Georgia, 30344. The last charge he has ever received is so remote that it's almost not worth mentioning. And we would ask, Your Honor, given the remoteness of any prior case and the fact that he does have a different address, we would ask for a $2,000 signature bond on the battery and a $2,000 signature bond on the cruelty to children.
All right. At this time, defendant will receive a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services, $2,500 on each charge. I am going to require that he take the 1-day anger awareness course. He's to have no further contact with Ms. Hickson, and he is to stay away from that address on Campbellton Road. Should he have any items that he needs to collect from there, he can return one time with law enforcement to do so. Moreover, he's to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Good luck to you, sir.
Thank
All
you.
right, who do we have next?
Position 6, Howard.
All right, good afternoon. Mr. Howard, please come quickly if you can. Oh, all right, take your time. Mr. Howard, your case is 23 CR 0000392F. In this case, you're charged with simple assault, family violence, terroristic threats, and reckless conduct with the offense date of January the 14th of 2023. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Roberts, can I have his history, please?
He has 14 cycles. His last arrest was March of 2019 for driving while license suspended or revoked. There's no disposition listed. I did count a total of 7 probation violations, with the last conviction being in 2009 for disorderly conduct. I did not see any felony convictions. And that disorderly conduct was amended from a robbery.
All right, thank you. Ms. Lewis?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on January 14th at 1205 Oleander Street. Officers responded to the above location and met with Tania Graham. It's to note that I believe Ms. Graham is on the call today. Ms. Graham stated that her and Howard were in a verbal dispute, which escalated, and Mr. Howard grabbed a gun. Howard stated that he grabbed the gun with the intent to intimidate Ms. Graham. Howard threatened to air it out, which we're assuming means he would shoot the gun until there were no more bullets in the chamber. There was a witness present, Mr. Robert Perkins, who stated he was outside when he heard arguing, and then he came inside the house. When he saw Mr. Howard grab the gun, Perkins stepped in between Howard and Graham in order to shield her. When Howard did grab the gun, it went off, striking him in his right leg. Since this incident has occurred, Ms. Graham was able to file a TPO, which was granted to her on Wednesday, January 18th. We spoke with her prior, and she's extremely afraid of Mr. Howard and wants no further contact with him. Because of the gravity of this situation, the state is recommending a $5,000 surety bond for the simple assault, $5,000 surety for the terroristic threats, and a $10,000 surety for the reckless conduct. No further contact with the witness. With the victim, 1 day anger awareness, to stay away from the location, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Graham, if you would like to make a statement, this is your opportunity to do so. I would just need you to turn on your camera, but you're not required to speak if you don't wish to.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
All right, Ms. Graham, do you wish to make a statement? If so, I need to place you under oath.
Okay, yes.
Okay, Ms. Graham, there's a lot of noise behind you. Is it possible you could step somewhere a little quieter where we can't hear those other parties?
My son's basketball game. I just stepped outside.
All right. Ms. Graham, will you please raise your right hand? And do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What would you like to tell the court at this time?
After speaking to his father and his friends, I suggested he get a mental evaluation because they said that he's been threatening to kill his son.
All right. All right. Thank you, Ms. Graham. I appreciate you coming to court to make that statement. Ms. Melnick?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is unemployed. On January 3rd, he was actually in a serious car accident. January 3rd of 2023, he was in a serious car accident where he was hit by an 18-wheeler tractor trailer truck. He had suffered obviously some serious injuries. As Ms. Graham indicated, she had spoken to his father. His father lives at 1762 Kevin Drive in Augusta, Georgia, 30906. He has plans, if released, to go and stay with his father in Augusta. And since he is unemployed, any type of bond would be equivalently be a no bond. He is not a felon. His last incident was a driving with license suspended from 2019. And we're asking, Your Honor, for a signature bond of $1,000 on each count.
All right.
And we did note that she did not say that she was scared of him. So she just wanted him, I think, and she had been in contact with his father, and his father is willing to have him go live with him.
Excuse me, this is Supervisor Anna Allen for the ASG's office. She told the police, and it's reported in the report that she was in fear.
All right, I don't believe that point is in extreme contention. All right, at this time, defendant is going to receive a $7,500 surety bond. That'll be 1,000 surety count 1, 1,000 surety count 2, and 5,500 for the reckless conduct. He's to have no contact whatsoever with Ms. Graham and stay away from the location on Oleander Street. Moreover, he's to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons whatsoever, including the subject weapon. The subject weapon must be surrendered. All right, is there anything further? And as a reminder, he'll be reset to the February 2nd state all-purpose calendar where this bond and other conditions can be revisited. All right, sir, I believe that concludes your case. Best of luck to you, sir. What do we have next?
Position 7, Williams.
All right, Mr. Williams, your case is 23 CR 000393B. In this case, you're charged with simple assault, family violence, and willful obstruction, each with the offense date of of March the 10th of 2022. Do you understand your rights?
Yeah.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Roberts, can I have the history, please?
I'm showing 2 cycles, including today's arrest. His last arrest and first arrest was May 18th of 2013 out of Coweta County for reckless conduct. That was a no-look plea.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Lewis.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred March 10th, 2022 on 2400 Campbellton Road, apartment 4. The officers reported to this location and spoke with Nicole Roberts. I do believe she's on the call as well. Roberts stated that her and Williams, who shared a child, were arguing. Roberts stated that Williams punched her in the throat and then slammed her on the bed. When the officer did arrive, Williams was in the doorway of the apartment. Williams grabbed his child and used his child and Roberts as a shield between he and the officer who had his taser drawn. The officer gave multiple loud commands to let the child go. And as the officer moved closer to Williams, Williams pushed Roberts and the child out the door and slammed the door. And subsequently, a warrant was issued for his arrest. The state is recommending a $1,500 surety bond for the simple assault and a $1,500 surety bond for the willful obstruction, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, to stay away from that location, and no further contact with the victim. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor, the alleged victim is on, and I was wondering.
Oh, that's right. Let me sound for her. I apologize. Ms. Roberts, if you wish to make a statement, this is your opportunity to do so, if you'd like to.
I do.
All right, we need you to turn on your camera so I can place you under oath. All right, Ms. Roberts, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what would you like to tell the court at this time?
Yes. During my 13 years of knowing him, he have never been violent towards me or my son. He really is a hard worker. At the time, I was very intoxicated, so I would say it's on my behalf. It did not happen like that at all. And I would also like to say I would really please beg you to get him a signature bond, because he have never, out of the 13 plus years that I known this man, been violent towards me in any type of way or caused physical body harm to me or my child.
All right, thank you, Ms. Roberts. I appreciate you making that statement. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 33 years old. As per trial has stated, he really has no significant criminal history at all. There was one arrest a long time ago. He is gainfully employed, Your Honor, and he is co-parenting with Ms. Roberts. They have a 12-year-old son who they are continuing to co-parent. They do not live together, Your Honor. She tells me that he sees his son every day, and she wants him to continue to be involved in his son's life. I would ask the court to give my client a signature bond so that he can get out of jail. The court will note that this incident happened in March of last year, almost a year ago. And as Ms. Roberts has stated, he's never been violent in the 13 years that they have been together. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. At this time, defendant will receive a $2,500 surety bond, $2,000 count 1, $500 count 2. He's to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim in this case and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Your
All
Honor,
right.
it was recommended. What signature bond?
All right, my ruling will remain, Ms. McLeod. Thank you. All right.
Thank
Is
you,
there
Your Honor.
anything? All right, I believe that includes the entire calendar.
Yes, we're completed here in courtroom two, Judge.
All right, take care. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you. You do the same.
Ms. Champion, will you review the calendar for me?
Yes, ma'am. Position number 1 is a $500 good bond reset SAP 223. Position number 2 is a total of a $5,000 good bond reset SAP 2223. Position number 3 is a $2,500 good bond reset SAP 2223. Position number 4 is a total of a $5,000 pretrial bond per judge reset further notice. Position number 5 is a $5,000 pretrial bond per judge reset further notice. Position number 6 is a total of a $7,500 good bond reset SAP 2223. And position number 7 is a total of a $2,500 good bond reset further note. I'm sorry, reset SAP 2223.
Any other comments, changes, corrections, or questions? All right, hearing none. Everyone enjoy your weekend. Take care and be safe. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Have a
All
good
right.
weekend.
All right,
Thank
bye-bye.
you.